afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another episode of Coptic Youth Radio Hour here on 92.3 FM, 3ZZZ. Today's date, the 16th of November 2017. Your host, Michael Risk, and on the program, I've got the wonderful Andrew Messiha.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andrew.
All good.
You're gonna crucify me. And we also got Kirola Sassad.
What's up, guys?
Thanks, boys, for coming in.
No
You're making your debut. Awesome to have you guys in. Maybe we'll have you guys more in the future.
Inshallah, God willing.
Depending on how today goes. So just give us a bit of background about yourself. Andrew, what church do you go to?
I go to St. George's Church in Melbourne from the West.
Shout out Abuna.
Shout out to Abuna Peter, Abuna Moros, and Abuna Tomas.
How about you, Kiro?
I go to St. Bishoy's in the east. The east is much better. Shout out to Abuna Shanuda and Abuna Mina.
Two eligible bachelors as well. Just wanted to mention that as well.
Hey, but we've got another shout out.
We've got a few more shout outs that we'd like to do.
Really? Who
We have a few eligible Coptic bachelors of the Melbourne Diocese and affiliated regions.
More wonderful people?
Yeah.
Give them out.
Who are they? We'd just like to shout them out. They're Nicholas Gabriel, Sinot Kyriakis, John Bastros, Carlos Kamel, and Fedi Elias.
And David Abdelmalik, Ragil Habib, Abanob Tawfiq, Rodney Basilios, John Boucher, and the one and only Kiro Assad.
Last but not least, Andrew's Messiha.
Yeah, well, so much love in here.
You know it.
Thanks, guys, for coming in. Today on the program, we're gonna have we'll talk a little bit about social media and a little bit about Snapchat mainly. The boys have they're big fans of Snapchat. And they've told me you have to get on Snapchat. You have to get Coptic Youth Radio on Snapchat. So we've done that. We've created it. So like our page, or what is it? Like our
follow us.
Follow us on Snapchat. Is that what it is?
Coptic, right. I think it's Coptic.radio. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll show that. We'll show that We'll talk more about that in our social media segment.
Also, a few more shout-outs to the Weekend and the Rats, and you know who you are. And Jerusalem Tashom, thank you for the beautiful braids.
Wow.
It's the best braids in the Coptic community. So make sure to hit her up.
Wow, so that's why you're wearing the hat last time. So we also got another segment. We're going to talk a little bit about Halloween. And as you know, Halloween just passed. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to play a game as well. Guess the hymn. The boys think that they can guess any type of hymn in the Coptic Orthodox community. So we're going to put them to the test.
Oh God, Rabbina all good.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. As always, you can like our Facebook page, 92.3 FM, 3ZZZ Coptic Youth Radio, if you haven't done so already. You can also listen to this program again on our SoundCloud account, Coptic Youth Radio. 3ZZZ Coptic Youth Radio. We're also on iTunes podcast. And you can also email us at copticyouth3ZZZ@gmail.com. That's it from us here. Stay tuned. Back here on Coptic Radio. Andrew and Kiro. We thought we'd play a game with the boys.
The boys.
We played this before, the game before. It's Guess the Hymn. So I'm going to play a hymn, short hymn, and you have to buzz in and guess what the hymn is. You two proclaim your absolute guns. And
he's got
don't lie.
Nah, Andrew, I know you.
I know my hand.
Andrew's the Mu'allim here, man.
Yeah.
No, I like
you're
I
on
like
the
a
down
fraction.
low, man.
I'm a fractions type of guy, you know?
Shout out to Abuna Antonios Tenios and Gregory Bakit.
Abuna Gregory Bakit and Abuna, I think his name is the new one, Abuna Suyel Kostandia.
And shout out to Abuna Rafael Hanna from Omaha. His voice is amazing.
Man, there's so many priests out there. They've got legendary voice.
You have to get up, guys. Make sure you get on SoundCloud. That's where it's at.
Fractions can get you to tears, you know.
How do we listen to these?
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
So
follow me. I'm Kira Dinho.
Self promotion here. All day, all episode is just add Kiro on Snapchat. That's all it is.
Exactly. I think you just got to search the name up, but yeah.
Just search up
Abuna Gregory
Tenios Wisdom Fraction or Gregory Bakit.
Or only begotten Sam Fractions, man.
There you go.
It's actually, bro, the first time I heard it, almost teared up. It's actually mad.
Gets to the heart, right to the feels.
All right, let's go. First track. I'm gonna play it.
You ready, brother?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
Where do we buzz? You brother?
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy
Sambi
Spirit.
Yusuf.
Shut the front. Only begotten Son, be with you.
Is it we're not from here?
We're not from here? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
We're the best team in the league.
We got it.
We're the best team in the league.
We're not from here, Yabni. We're not from
We're
here.
the best.
She said it like the first verse, man.
See how original Egyptians
man.
are, bro.
We're
They
not
can't make
from
it like
here.
a proper title. They just have to
from
use the
here.
words of the lyrics.
Alright, we're not from here, Kiro.
We're the best, bro.
Alright, next one. Next one.
Blessed are you,
Blessed are you, Mary.
Yes, we got it, man! Bro, we're killing it. We're killing it.
Kill you, bro.
Blessed are you,
2 out of
Mary.
3. We're on our way to 3 out of 3. 100%.
Alright,
That's where
let's
it's
go.
at. Gotta
Hey,
do
if we
this,
get
bro.
3 out of 3, we gotta test him.
Oh, yeah, bro.
We're gonna test you back.
We're going to do our own Al-Han and you have to guess it.
Al-Han, not even
Yes.
him's. Al-Han.
Al-Han.
Han.
Look, the thing is, they say it in the first verse.
That's not a problem. You can choose better songs, better hymns,
hymns,
better
man.
songs, the harder songs.
This, and if you get this, we're gonna do a tough one. Before she speaks.
Where do you get this Al-Han from? Tell me.
You've heard it before. You've heard it a million times before.
Is it, yeah, like,
Doesn't really get it well, huh?
is she gonna sing?
Well, I don't hope not, because once she says it, she's gonna say it.
Well, is it off the, like, is that the tune?
They take a while to kick in.
Yeah, Omar film style.
You
Like
did the
the 40 minutes,
introduction.
yeah, the 40
Abdul Halim
minutes.
Hafiz,
Yeah, 40 minutes, Abdul Latif Teddy.
Hail to you, O Virgin.
Okay, is it hail to me?
Hail to the pride of our race, who gave birth to Emmanuel. We ask you, O trustful intercessor,
Tell me
to
you do St.
remember
Mary,
us
yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
before our
You do
Lord
St. Mary?
Jesus Christ, to forgive us our sins.
No, stop singing, man.
The introduction.
If she's gonna say it.
Usually when I listen to hymns, they usually start from the first 2-3 seconds.
Yeah.
Not a full 40-minute introduction.
In the shadow of your protection, we find refuge.
Oh, shadow of your protection.
What was that?
Oh, shadow of your protection.
Reject our supplications.
Under the shadow of your protection.
Wait.
In the shadow of
In the shadow of your protection.
Yes, hell yeah. That's the chorus. It has
I've
to
never
be.
heard that hymn in my life. That's mad. Hey, let's find them a fraction. Let's find a fraction. Alright? You like fraction?
Nah, I'm gonna guess a fraction.
I'll
What,
find
you
you a
gonna
fraction.
test me?
Yeah, I'll test you on a fraction.
Nah,
Hey, should we
nah,
give him? Come on, man. Come on.
Nah, it doesn't work like that. I test you.
No,
Nah,
we'll-
one is home ground.
True that.
I'm
He's scared. He's scared.
Yeah,
That's alright.
he's scared. It's alright. We can't embarrass him in front of all
Yeah,
these
man,
people.
exactly,
Come on.
exactly.
He needs to keep his rep up.
gonna find another one.
Take all you need. Take all
Even
the time you
go-
need to find.
go to
Whatever you
Zbad-
find, we'll
Zbad
guess
the
it.
Oggs where
We'll
it's
get
at.
it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
And hand.
We're here all day.
Hand.
Bread and butter.
Alright, this one I'm gonna play it, but probably like halfway through. So I'm not gonna.
Oh, so you'll
40,
start-
no
So
40
they're gonna
minute,
think-
no 40-minute introduction.
Just go get on. Janoinen.
Yeah.
Have mercy. Have
Yeah.
mercy.
Have
Yeah,
mercy.
what-
Have mercy. Janoinen.
Yeah, you guys are good, man.
Yeah, we're the best.
Or was that too easy?
That was
That was
way
a bit too easy,
Come
yeah.
on, man. Come on,
Man, we say that every single night before we sleep, before we have exams.
Yeah, man. That's like my number one go-to track before the exam.
Matanya.
Alright, you're not gonna get this one. It's not a really popular one.
And our pride, O Virgin Mary, O Virgin
Sounds like Lord of the Last Supper.
Mary.
No, it's not, but it's not Lord of the Last Supper, is it? It is. It's an R song. It's got the same beat.
The Lord chose you a heaven and gave you from his own.
The Lord chose you
Where are you getting these things from?
Don't worry.
Are they even
and
talking?
Yes,
gave you
Coptic.
from his own. You became mother of God. Saint Mary, Saint Mary,
But it's not. I tricked
Saint Mary, Saint Mary, our mother.
Saint Mary?
And
It's the same. It's about the same.
Virgin Mary.
Virgin Mary.
Same Mary. Can you give us one? Because I've never heard that.
It's 2 words.
Oh, Virgin Mary? Virgin
Two
Mary.
words, bro.
Oh,
Two
Mary. Oh,
words.
Mary. Mother of God.
Saint Mary.
Nah, give up. You guys
Nah,
are-
the
It's
Theotokos.
called Our Pride.
Our
Oh
pride.
my lord. Nah,
I had to get you on one.
I've
Yeah.
You
never
guys
heard that.
were too
We're too
confident.
good,
You
yeah,
got all
sorry.
of them.
God, teach us humility.
After the show,
You
you
just
gotta
taught
hook
us
us up with
humility.
his
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, that was our little segment with games. You guys did pretty well, man. You got like,
Thanks, man.
what'd you get? You got 3 out of.
3 out of
Oh,
4.
yeah.
That's not bad. That's
It's all right.
That's pretty impressive.
We'll get out to Baba with that exam result.
Nah.
Bye-bye. See you
Master
later.
level.
Get the cane out.
You're not coming back home.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll be back. Back here on Coptic Youth Radio Hour, and joined with Andrew and Kiro. We for our social segment today, we wanted to talk about the power of social media and the purposes the use that it can have, good or bad. I'm sort of from that Facebook generation. These guys, these boys, they've just introduced me to like Snapchat and all these
The
other
other boys.
Yeah,
new
man.
platforms and stuff.
That's where it's at.
So we're just going to have a discussion on social media and the pros and cons for it. So first off, I'll start with I've got Facebook. I've had that for a while, and all these new sort of technologies come in, like Snapchat, Instagram, and all these things. And is it really worth getting that stuff? Like, what purpose does that have over Facebook? Do you guys think? What do you think?
You wanna start off?
I'll let you start, Slutsy, huh?
All right, I think because like Snapchat and Instagram, they're a new way. It's a new social media. Like people are making Snapchat and Instagram, I think, more than Facebook. And I think the way, like for example, Snapchat and Instagram, you can share photos and things like that. Facebook, it's more like.
But you can do that with Facebook.
But the thing is, like you're in the event, like you're in the moment. Do you get me? But I don't know. Like I think Snapchat's more our generation, like me and Kiro's.
Yes.
Like when we're at Sunday school, Snapchat this, Snap this,
Yeah.
Sharif Air, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah,
Kiro?
me personally, I'm not that hip. Like I'm not up to date with everything right. Like nowadays, I've only had like Facebook for my whole life. I only got Snapchat about 2 weeks ago, so I'm late to the party. Haven't got Instagram. All my friends are telling me to get Instagram, but yeah, I see where you're coming from. But there's different elements. Every different app, like a social media app, has different purposes and have different hypes about them. And you see famous celebrities using them as well, and it hypes it up even more for other Coptic youth to use it, especially because they look up to them and want to be like them and everything. So yeah, it
Well,
can be good. Like it can be used for good and bad, but I see it as normally as like a positive influence in our lives, something to look forward to, something to help us look at the positive side of life, I guess.
Yeah, you touch on a good point. Like, if you see celebrities using it,
Yeah.
then everyone else. Like, if you see a celebrity buying nice shoes or something, you're gonna go and buy that. Same thing with Snapchat. All right, so how do we promote this radio station on Snapchat? Give me some tips.
So right before air, you should actually share the name of the account. So right before air, Michael took a risk. he made
Risk, high reward.
he made a Snapchat account for the
And it
Coptic,
surely
Coptic
paid off.
radio. Yeah, what can you share the account name? What's the name?
Yes, so it's Coptic Youth Radio.
Yeah,
That's
but
the name.
The username.
Guys, hit him up.
username.
How do I show that?
Coptic, isn't it Coptic.radio? You
It's-
remember how the username we just made like 2 minutes ago?
It's just
Sorry,
Coptic
guys, he's
Radio.
new to this.
Yeah.
Give him a few minutes.
I got my story 14 minutes ago.
I'll check. So your name is it's Coptic.radio, all small.
So add them on
All
YouTube,
right,
on
show it to
Snapchat.
the camera. Show it to the camera.
Can you see that? Coptic.radio. Yeah, and after we finish, we're gonna make him a Bitmoji, so like he can have his own emoji
Yeah.
get
for
all
the
the-
for the youth
Yeah.
program.
Get
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
subscribers.
But I
going.
think it's gonna be really good for service.
Be sure
'cause
to
I-
add them,
yeah.
guys. Be sure to add them.
I think
It's a good
Mm.
movement.
yeah,
So how do you think this is going to be good? Like,
it's a good way to promote and advertise. So
So
like
everyone knows what you're
yeah.
doing, what you're up to,
Yeah.
and what time of the
Yeah.
day, what you're about, what's your philosophy about,
Mm.
what do you aim to get people to come and join you for. So
And
helping in so many
and you
ways.
guys were saying that there's like some priests on there as well.
yeah, priests,
Yeah.
monks.
yeah.
Definitely. Even I know a few monks in some monasteries. They actually even have Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. They're up to date with the world, and even though they're meant to be living by themselves
Yeah.
and focusing on their
Yeah.
relationship with God and being away from the world, they still
But they've got
they
that.
still get in touch with the world through
Yeah.
social media.
Well, I guess we need that medium to interact with the youth of today.
Yeah, that's
Like,
very true.
back when I was a youth or when I was your age kind of thing, maybe Facebook was that for
Yeah.
us, and all the priests were jumping on that.
Yeah, that's
Now
true.
it's the new generation, the new
Now-
era
Yeah.
is Snapchat,
Yeah.
and now
Trying to get away from the parents.
well, that's good. That's another
Yeah.
thing. Like, why do you think Snapchat is so like popular now and not Facebook? Like, why aren't the kids getting onto the Facebook?
Yeah.
Like, why are they getting onto Snapchat? Is it because Baba or Mama or Mum and Dad they're on
I
Facebook?
think it's a combination of things.
Yeah.
I think it's because mama and baba, and also because people want something new. They're sick and tired of the same old stuff.
But the bonus with Snapchat, even the thing is like you only put it on you put it on a story temporarily for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So like it's not like Facebook; it just stays there, and like you get like so this is you're showing to the world what you're doing. So like you know, Kiro is always out. Like I don't know, having a sesh, and I'm at home in bed watching a TV show, and I see how he's having an
Relax.
amazing life. I'm just
Relax,
like, oh,
yeah.
he's got a cool life. So I think with with the new Snapchat account we made, I think it can promote the service and it can advertise the service, because I know a lot of churches have gotten onto Snapchat, Instagram, and that's how they promote a lot of their services. Whether putting a photo of Abuna doing Vespers or a picture of an icon, hey Haga, like that's how people are promoting, and I think it's a really good way to promote.
And you see
the
in all the
church.
churches today as well. Like I'm from St. Bishoys, and we sometimes promote all our tasbahas or any services or any liturgies on Instagram or Facebook. I know St. Mary's do it. They're very good with that as well. They always advertise their Thursday night tasbahas. Make sure to go to it. And also and all that stuff, and like all the youth meetings and all the different
services,
servants
yeah.
meetings and all that. So they're very good at that.
That's really interesting. Thanks, guys. You've introduced me to this little new toy.
Anytime, bro.
Hopefully we can start getting more people, more youth involved.
100%.
100%. man.
عايزين الناس الشباب كده صغيرة.
No worries, bro.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll be back with another segment. Back here on Coptic Youth Radio, association with Tuned In. Got Andrew and Kiro. Boys, Halloween just passed, yeah? And what are your thoughts on Halloween? I know in our church it's not really that promoted or that celebrated. Even in Australia, like it's not really as big as it is in America. What do you think that is? Like, should we be afraid of it? Should we accept it? Is it just something that's harmless for the kids? What do you guys think? What are your thoughts on Halloween?
So my personal thoughts, I think Halloween, I'm against Halloween. I'm against the idea. My parents, like since a young age, when I was young, because I used to live in New Zealand, so like we'd have kids going around doing Halloween, and I'd be like to my parents, like, why can't we go? And they'd be like, it's something satanic. So once like we grew up and we looked at a bit in, like we read about it a bit more, like from my understanding, it's got something to do with satanic. So personally for me, I see it as, if it's something to do with satanic, like something satanic, I shouldn't get myself involved with anything to do with that. And the whole thing about dressing up and stuff like that, like you can dress up on any other day. It doesn't have to be on that Halloween. Like, and I think even if you look at it from another perspective, not spiritually but socially, there's some like things that can happen. Like for example, this year I was on Facebook or something. I saw this video. Some kid went trick or treating, and he got a lolly, and I think the lolly had some needle or something in it. Like, so the person that gave them the lolly was intending to hurt the person, and it's not safe. So, like, for example, like, what's gonna hurt? Like, it's not gonna hurt you. Maybe on that day, if your mates are going out, like to do Halloween and stuff, why don't you sit at home, you know, play some Monopoly, get some chocolate? I'm not joking. Like, and maybe another day if you want to dress up, but it doesn't have to be on that day, especially because it's something to do with Satan and the devil and so on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I share the same opinion with Andrew, as in that I was always taught that it was satanic. But going to an Anglican private school, they always forced us, not forced us, but they always celebrated Halloween by dressing up in costumes and everything, which I always thought was harmless, until I was taught that it was actually celebrating the evil spirits and the satanic belief, which is against our religion.
So they taught you that, or how did you find that out?
From Abuna, from
okay.
a priest at my local parish.
Okay.
Yeah, so he taught us about that. But ever since then, before then, I would participate them not knowing that it actually has a deeper meaning. And as for like the argument, I know some people say, well, can't we just come up to or join in Halloween dressing up as the saints? And we've had a lot of discussions about this topic with Ambassador, and he always says that you shouldn't really participate in the actual fiasco of it, if you would like to put it that way, because it's still celebrating the evil spirits or the satanic spirits, even if you dress up as a saint. You should be celebrating the saint every single day, not every single day, but on a week-to-week basis, or during the Synaxarium when we read the names. That's when you celebrate them. It doesn't have to be just on Halloween. There shouldn't be one day where you celebrate all these saints. You celebrate them in their own time of the year according to the Coptic calendar.
I don't think there's anything wrong with dressing up. Like, go for it, hire a costume, but it doesn't have to be on that day. Like, even as I said, for safety reasons, if you like with the story I just shared, like, you know, you got nothing to lose. Like, you got nothing to lose. Just stay at home. I guess kick back with the family. Your family time's good. Play some Monopoly. Go out with the boys. You know, go with Kiro, have a sesh.
Yeah, bro.
Like, I'm not joking. Like, why would you put yourself in an environment like that? You don't. It's not. There's costume parties and stuff like that going around. So
that's
not on that day. You know?
People will look at it and just go, it's for kids. Kids don't really understand that meaning, and the parents aren't going to teach the kids, it's based on a satanic ritual or anything like that. Like, they're not going to teach the kids that. So in the kids' eyes, they're just getting dressed up and going to collect lollies. That's all they're doing. That's all that they have in their mind, and that's all they can see. It's fun for them, and so like, it's tough, like, because you don't want to take that away from them. Because like they see it as something that's fun. They're doing it with their friends, and they can share in the experience with their friends the next day. But like you said, there was a story in Australia, in Sydney, where two people dressed up in full outfit, and they robbed the place. They tied the parents up, and there's 4 people in the house, and they tied them up and they robbed them. And no one sees it. No one knows who they are because they had masks on. And that's on that day, people are allowed to walk around. No one's going to look at you twice because you're wearing a mask. Like, they look at it as like, that's part of Halloween. That's funny, and take a photo with you and things like that. So it's a bit, dangerous. But like Christmas, you know, like Christmas is, it's based on Santa Claus. So kids know that Santa Claus is real. But we as adults, you know that he's not real. So do you burst their bubble? Yeah. Do you tell them, no, Santa's not real? Or you still keep them?
You tell them that Santa's Saint Nicholas. And that Christmas equals presents according to their eyes.
No, like, I think the Santa Claus thing, I was one of those kids that was like, always, like, we had a teacher, and she used to, like, this was back in the days in primary school. I wasn't at the Coptic school, I was in another school. And she was like, always like, I saw Santa last Christmas. And I'm like, coming from I'm Egyptian. I'm like, they're all Australians.
Yes.
Yani, they've been raised up Santa. I'm like, Santa's dead. Santa's been dead for like the past, 200 years. You're like, you can't say that. And so. And I'm like to him, no, well, I've never seen Santa. No one's seen Santa. Where's the evidence? There's a Santa at every shopping center. Like, I was roasting the teacher. And like, I was one of those kids that was always against it. But I think we have to teach, especially the next generation, how because they're like, they always think it's Santa Claus. I think we have to teach them that no, it's not about Santa Claus. It's about Christ coming to the earth, and it's the first step of our salvation. Like, he's coming down to be incarnate, and it's the first step, and that's why we take it. It's such an important feast in our church, and that's why we should teach our kids. It's not something to do with Santa, but something to do with Christ.
I wish I could say the same for me, Andrew. I always had to be Santa myself.
No.
Because you're the biggest.
Yeah, biggest way.
I always copped it so hard.
But yeah, like that's another thing. Like you don't want to blow the bubble for the kids and tell them Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Halloween. You don't want to like blow the bubble and just go, no, this is what you're doing is Santa service. So it's like, yeah, wait until.
But they have to learn the truth
Yeah,
at
you
some
have
stage
to,
of their life. They have to.
Yeah, they
You
will.
have to teach them the right.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry to the kids that just heard that.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't mean to.
Yeah, so-
Santa Claus is still
Alhamdulillah,
alive, don't worry.
So I
Please have
want
mercy on us.
to get back to this. So you were the one who was blowing all the bubbles for
I-
the kids
no.
about Santa Claus. Santa Claus is not real.
You're the
That-
Grinch.
that-
You
I
stole
was
Christmas.
one of those ones.
You're
So
the
that-
Grinch.
So the kids were going back to their parents and saying, "Mummy, this mean boy at school just told me Santa's not real." That was you.
No, I was one of those kids. Like, I never believed it. Like, because the thing is, I used to live in a Ballarat, and I was there for about 4 or 5 years, and like I was the only like non-Australian. Like, I was the Egyptian guy. You know, I got a bit of racism from people, but like the thing is, like at the end of the day, I'd be just like, I'd look at the teacher. Like, I was grade 3 or grade 4, and she'd be like, Santa Claus gave me something in my stockings. I'm like, what do you want, bro? Yeah, and he like, we don't like Santa Claus. Have you seen him? I'm like full on Yanni questioning her. And she's like, yeah, I saw him. I'm like, wow, what did he look like? Do you have a photo? Yanni, like I always had to go at this teacher because the thing is, it just never hit my mind that Santa Claus is alive. It didn't make sense to me. But yeah, I think because they were all like in that school, they concentrated on Santa, whereas it's not. We don't celebrate Christmas for Santa. We celebrate it for Christ.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had that mentality from when I was young. But now if I see a kid, yeah, oh look, Santa Claus is alive. Don't worry.
Really? Are
Yeah.
you sure?
I promise.
Actually, you brought up on a good point that it was celebrating it for Christ.
Yeah.
It's Christ Mass, so
Yeah.
it's the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we have the midnight mass, and I think a lot of people these days miss the actual meaning of Christmas these days. That's why they call it Xmas, which is actually
Yes.
blasphemy.
Mm.
It's actually completely disregarding Christ's involvement of Christmas. That's why if you can have like a whole nother discussion on this and how everyone's just losing the sight of the meaning of Christmas.
But mind you, especially because our parents are from Egypt, they're Egyptian or like from the Middle East. They never had Santa Claus back in their days. Like they had Santa Claus, but they knew the main reason, and that's why. Like that's how I was brought up. Like me and Santa Claus, that you know.
Yeah.
But
I think it's just
Yeah.
the juxtaposition between
Yeah.
Eastern and Western
Yeah,
culture.
exactly,
I think that's
exactly,
what it is.
Well, that was really interesting. I'll definitely have you guys on. We'll talk about Christmas. That's a whole other topic on its own.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Jesus' involvement in Christmas and how we got to bring that back. But yeah, you're right. Xmas, there's a lot of Xmas these days.
Yeah.
They just want to shorten it.
Yeah.
They want to take Christ out, shorten it, but you're missing the point of the whole
Exactly.
reason.
Yeah.
Once
That's
you
it.
put the X, it becomes like Santa's Christmas kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, so yeah. Stay tuned, guys. Oh, make sure not to bring Andrew around your kids because he's gonna blow the bubble. That's what
no,
we
I
just-
promise.
that's
what
what
we
we
just
did
I was grade 3, man. Come on, man. Come on. I just moved
Always
from. I just
sliding.
moved from overseas. Like I just moved from overseas. So like Christmas, like I saw them. I'm like, what are you thinking?
was a
Like,
fun-
and especially
fresh-
because it was a
fresh off the
teacher.
boat.
The teacher was actually having like a legitimate argument with me. I'm like, who are you? Yeah, come teach me, man. Teach me English.
Did you say this all in Arabic?
No. But like, bro, the racism I copped at that school. Yeah.
You're an easy target, bro.
Yeah, I was. Like, I think a girl even cried from like
Oh my lord.
from the amount of times like, yeah, Santa's dead. Like that. I shouldn't be saying this on radio, but yeah, no, trust me. If I see a school kid now, I'll tell them, no, Santa's alive. But
He's all well and good.
don't forget the true meaning of Christmas.
All right,
For
that's
Christ.
good.
That's a
good.
good message.
Stay tuned, guys. And that's all the time we have for you guys. Thanks again for joining us, radio and our YouTube viewers. Thanks, Andrew, for coming in. You're a legend. Thanks, Kiddo, for coming
No
in.
worries.
Thanks,
Anytime.
man.
Thank you for having us.
Tag team, you boys are awesome. Always want to have you guys back again. You bring a lot of fun and youth to the program. It's a good change. So that's it from us here. As always, you can like our Facebook page, 92.3 FM, through Triple Coptic Youth Radio, if you haven't done so already. Make sure to also like us on Snapchat, and I'm still trying to figure
Like
it out.
us, follow.
He
Follow
reckons. He reckons.
Add us, even better.
Add us as a
us.
friend on
Snapchat,
Snapchat.
yeah.
Add us on
Be sure to
Snapchat.
add us.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's going to take time to get used to.
Slowly but
also,
surely.
we're also on iTunes, so if you want to download the podcast, and SoundCloud, 3ZZZ Coptic Youth Radio.
Also, thank you very much to Michael. He's doing a fantastic job with this radio service. It's a beautiful service to God and to the Melbourne Diocese.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks heaps, man.
Thanks,
Legend,
boys.
actually legend, man. Thanks
Thanks
heaps.
you. You better come
Hey,
again.
Bro, we made before we walked in, we made this sick ass rap, yeah? We made it with your name. You know, hey, your name is Marco Risk. Yeah? Me and Kiro made this sick ass rap. It goes like this. My name is Marco Risk. I play a hand on the disc.
I'm from St. Mark's and I'm with all the chicks.
Oh! GG.
What are you guys doing? All right. So on that note, we'll end it. Maybe we'll be here next week. Maybe not, depending on how
It would
this
have been all
goes.
good. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, guys. That was really nice. Thank
No
you.
worries.
Appreciate
Anytime.
that.
Thank you so much for having us.
See you guys next week.